Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast. Enjoy.
Well, hello. Yes, you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast, and I am your host, Stephanie K. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello to everybody on this. Jersey once again is in the middle of miserable weather. I don't know why it always seems to happen on Mondays, but it was raining and yucky today. Glad I didn't have to go anywhere. There you go. So it is still winter, and I am just here hoping to bring some warm, toasty Star Trek thoughts to you all. So I hope everybody's had a great start to their week. And here we are once again. Thank you all for joining me here on the NX 7062 podcast. Couple little things. Don't forget that this weekend, this Saturday, the 27th, at 4 p.m. Eastern, the cast of Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine. All right. Deep Space Nine. And I just saw an Visitor post about it. I should know. The cast of Deep Space Nine, Nana and Armin Shimmerman and Andrew Robinson and Nicole Zabor and Alexander Siddig. And I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Armin Shimmerman, see. Hey, Lasso and Armin Shimmerman are all doing one of the GalaxyCon Live's free Q&As. It's amazing. It's free. Get there early. Get your questions ready to shoot at the moderators maybe 12 times before somebody will snag it and ask it for you. But that is happening this weekend, Saturday the 27th, 4 p.m. Eastern for GalaxyCon Live. Like I said, I attended a Enterprise one that they did over the summer, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. And there are upsells. You can do video one-on-ones. You can pay for personalized autographs. Again, personalized autographs is something I wouldn't necessarily pay for virtually, because part of the reason that I like to pay for them is obviously the FaceTime with the celebrities. But you know what? If there's somebody that you really need and you don't think you're ever going to have a chance to see them at a convention, go for it. It's definitely great that they're offering personalized. So again, and GalaxyCon does a really good job with the virtual conventions. So highly recommend it. Good evening, Robert. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Yes. Now that you've said that, if it falls over, I am blaming you, Robert. But yeah, I did fix my green screen. Basically what I did was I came into my office a couple days ago, sat down and just started throwing things out, clearing off more desk space than I did, getting some stuff resituated, and figuring out a different configuration, because it's actually 2 stands for the green screen. One wasn't enough because of the way the camera's set up. One was cutting it off. You would have been able to see the mess behind me like you guys did last week. So right now, everything is good. Knock on wood. I'm not knocking on wood because I'm afraid that one thing will come down. But anyway, yeah. So for right now, it's up. It's good. It actually looks really good. This is probably one of the clearest bridge views that we've had of the NX-01. In fact, look, the way I have my chair, you can actually now see Mayweather behind me. Well, hello, Travis. Thank you so much for joining us. Always good to see you. Thank you so much for popping in. The one thing that I forgot to do because I was really honestly totally concentrating on my green screen. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me for 2 seconds while I set this up real quick. Was do a banner to show you guys the. Okay, wait. There it is. That is the link to my store. I just had to do that real quick, because if you can't, now that the banner's up, you can't see it. That's the link to the NX 7062 store. And as you will see, I'm actually wearing an NX 7062 official tank top. It is totes comfortable. I am loving it. They run small. This is an extra large, and I usually have a little more space in the extra larges, so at least this tank top runs small, but it's very comfortable. It's very fashionable. It's a great way to show your support for your favorite enterprise-centric podcast. Even though I don't feel this is an enterprise-centric podcast, all of you guys that know me and have been with me for the couple years that I've been doing this, you know that 9 times out of 10, I will always bring the chat around to enterprise. So, but please check out the website, the store. It's on Teespring, and get yourself or a sweatshirt, because the groundhog did actually see a shadow earlier this month, so we could actually be in for 6 more weeks of winter. It is only 169 days to STLV, warmer days ahead. assuming we're still having it. Obviously, things are still up in the air. We're not 100% sure where the virus is going to be and whether Vegas will be having crowds that large by August, but I'm still crossing my fingers because I definitely need my fix. I need my Enterprise fix, and right now all of my favorites from Enterprise are going to be there, plus my favorites from other shows are going to be there. Plus, I got to go for you guys, the ones that can't make it out to STLV. You know I am here for you. Send me your questions for anybody that is going to be in the vendor's room, and you know I will try my damnedest to get your questions answered and then play them back when I come back. Also want to remind everybody about the Voyager documentary. It's at Voyager Documentary on the socials, and please go support them. They have an Indiegogo fundraising campaign, so please go out. They have already gone out and captured some footage, but they really kind of need, obviously, the funding to continue. My friend Ryan T. Husk, as you all probably know from his time here, and of course, being part of the Seventh Rule, is actually part of the documentary. So I'm all about supporting, even though, I was not a big Voyager fan, doesn't mean that I don't support the documentary, because of course there are, one or two Voyager fans out there. So, also the other thing I want to talk about real quick for anybody that is on the East Coast, the Voyager, Shore Leave. Well, we'll tie it into Voyager in a second. Shore Leave, which is one of my other favorite conventions because A, I can drive to it. B, it is very Star Trek centric. And C, because I actually know some of the vendors that go, is on at the moment. It's scheduled for July 9th to the 11th. And Brent Spiner, Gates McFadden, and Robbie Duncan McNeil, there we go, Voyager. Robbie Duncan McNeil are all slated to be there. It looks like Gates is going to be there all 3 days, but I think Brent and Robbie are only going to be there Saturday and Sunday. I have friends that go. I'm hoping to get down there. Can't promise that I can get questions answered if I do go, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. Obviously, it's going to be over the summer, but and we all know that by May I'm usually on my summer break. But that doesn't mean that I won't be reaching out to everybody over the socials. So I'll let you know if I'm going to Shore Leave, and I will absolutely collect questions if I go to Shore Leave as well. So that is something to look forward to. Again, hoping that by July there will be enough shots in arms and enough feeling comfortable and protections in place that we'll be able to gather. Which also leads me to the topic for tonight. And I am so glad that Magic Lasso is here because he's part of this topic for tonight. Unfortunately, he couldn't join me live. One of these days, I will let you all meet Magic Lasso face to face if we can get our schedules to jive up. But that is for some time in the future. Anyway, so tonight's topic is unlikely Star Trek fans. People that you meet or just look at. And I know we all stereotype. We all have preconceived notions, no matter how hard I think everybody tries not to. But we're all human, and everybody's got preconceived notions. So you all kind of think that you would know just by looking at somebody whether or not they would be a Star Trek fan. And I just actually talked to one of my friends last week, and I tried to also get him to come on the show tonight because he was the prime example, and I'll get to his story in a little bit. But I just kind of think that you think who a Star Trek fan is. Even when you go to conventions, everybody's cosplaying, and it's obvious we're all Star Trek fans. But when you're just, in your secret identity as a regular human being walking your path, how do you know that somebody's a Star Trek fan? How do you make these assumptions? Or just, a fan in general, a nerd in general, a comic book geek, like my friend Magic Lasso. So my stories, I don't know if you guys have stories, and if you do, I would love to hear them. But my stories start actually, Magic Lasso is one of them. 1 million years ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I used to work in country music. I actually didn't like country music when I was growing up, but I came into it in my 20s through karaoke, and I fell in love with country music. And then I met a country music star actually here in New Jersey, and she and I became friends. And today, ironically, is actually her birthday. We don't speak anymore, but today is actually her birthday. Anyway, and she and I got to be friends, and what she needed was somebody to promote her singles to country music stations. So that meant literally I would call during the week, Monday through Thursday. I would be picking up the phone, basically trying to sell her and her music to a variety of different stations. And the one thing that I learned was that it really honestly isn't necessarily about the music as much as the connections that you can make with the people that you're talking to. And I guess just because, again, my preconceived notions of country music and the people involved in country music and all these other things, I never thought that I would cross paths with nerds in country music. And in fact, the artist that I promoted, she hated science fiction. She and I used to get in fights about conventions because she never understood them. It was just ridiculous. She had no interest in it. Yet a couple of times I've gotten her single on the air because of my nerddom. The first time it happened was when one of the people that I called found out I was a Doctor Who fan, and the next week he put her song on the air. But when that's how Magic Lasso and I met. Magic Lasso was a radio guy and I was a promoter girl. And this artist that we were both friends with, this artist at the time. And it was just so funny because she had told me that she knew that Lasso was, he liked comics and he liked Star Wars and he liked all this other stuff. And it was just really funny because I think the first time that he and I ever talked was when this artist and I were together. I think it was funny. Lasso thought it was funny when I mentioned it to him the other day, and got permission to tell her story. But the first time was this artist had called him to kind of make our introductions. And I don't remember what Star Wars quote Lasso said. I honestly don't remember what Lasso said. But my response to her was tell him that he's a scruffy looking nerf herder. And this artist looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I didn't care. And I said, tell him he is a scruffy looking nerf herder. And she did. And Lasso completely knew exactly what I was talking about. I knew what I was talking about. Fast forward a couple years. Hey, Patrick, how are you? Waving back. So fast forward a million years into our future, and this person is out of my life. As far as I know, Lasso doesn't talk to this person anymore, and yet Lasso and I are still friends because our nerddom brought us together. And I think that that's amazing. I think that science fiction and Star Trek and Star Wars and comics are really the ties that bind. I think that there is just such an amazing connection that you can make when you find people that share that interest with you, because there's such a wealth of content and there's such a just stories and episodes and information, stuff you could talk about that you could just talk about your fandoms into, forever. And I think that kind of, I still like country music, but I don't like country music the way I like Star Trek and Star Wars. I don't like country music the way I enjoy sitting down and reading a good comic book. I love my Star Wars and my Star Trek and my Wonder Woman. So that's, in fact, Lasso and I were actually just talking about some Wonder Woman stuff tonight. And again, I don't work in country music anymore. Things just sort of fell out with that whole thing. So I don't do country music anymore. But I'm still friends on Facebook with some of the people that I met through country music, including this one country music artist named Mark. And it was one of those things. Have you guys ever had a friend on Facebook and you just kind of stop talking to them? It just happens. It just phases out. You guys were friends. You used to talk about it. And then for whatever reason, you move on. They move on. You're still friends on Facebook, but you don't talk. But every now and then they pop up in your newsfeed. So this was, a couple years ago. Again, out of country music. I was still had a couple friends. But Mark and I just hadn't talked in a while. And he makes some post about binge watching Voyager. And my response to him was, you're a Star Trek fan? And he's like, yeah, since blah, 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 I love Voyager, which immediately led us into DMing. And I'm like, oh my God. In fact, this had to have been around 2016. I think it was back around the time that I had just gotten back into Star Trek. And we just ended up DMing and having this incredible conversation about science fiction and Star Trek. And again, just Mark was just this country music artist that I knew. And the next thing I know, we're renewing our friendship over Star Trek, except for the fact that he liked Voyager, because we had a whole thing about you're binge watching what? You could have picked Enterprise, because you know me. Hey, Patrick. Okay, hold on one second. Oh, there's my mouse. All right, are we talking about Patrick? Is that is that? Oh my God, I love your avatar. By the way, that is great. But are we talking about people on Facebook that you've just kind of, you know? Yeah, absolutely. So it's great because Star Trek actually helped me renew my friendship with Mark to the point where I actually went and saw him play. This was, a couple years before the pandemic. He's Maryland, Baltimore-ish, so he's close, but just it's a lot to go down to go see a band, drive down 2 hours, but he's definitely worth it. He's still one of my favorite independent country music artists, but he gets to be top of the list now that I also know that he's a Star Trek fan and we can talk Star Trek. The flip side of that, this is how I actually ended up ditching somebody. The flip side of that, yeah, exactly. It's amazing how many people. I mean, I purge my Facebook. I really do. I try to really kind of keep my Facebook to friends, like people that I know in real life that because then you end up with misunderstandings. Because here's one. So back my birthday was in August, and somebody that I had met once at a convention because I was working with John Glover, so somebody came by John Glover's table. And that's how I met him, because he came by a couple times because John will talk to everybody. So he came by John's table a couple times. Yes, Mark is a great artist, human friend. We love Mark. Lasso and I are both huge fans of Mark, and his name, you know what? He's an artist. I think he has a Facebook page. His name's Mark Bray. If you like country music, go check him out. He's an amazing, amazing talent. Got a great voice. And if you're in the Northeast, like I said, he's Baltimore, Maryland area. If you're anywhere in that vicinity and you want to go catch some great live music, he's doing live stuff where he can, when he can. So he's awesome. We love Mark Bray. So anyway, so I met this person who came by John's table, and he ended up friending me on Facebook. And sometimes I just don't want to be rude to fellow Star Trek fans. And like I said, I met him, so I added him. And then for my birthday, he says, "Happy birthday. Hope you have your Horgon out." Well, my whole life, to be honest with you guys, my whole life is situational ethics. And how I act towards you because you said something is not necessarily how I'm going to act towards the next person who said something. And for those of you that know what a Horgon is, which is I think probably everybody but Lasso, so Magic Lasso, there is a pleasure planet called Risa, which in the grand scheme of things, if you go to Risa, you're going to get lucky unless you're tripping Malcolm, but that's a chat for another time. And they have these little statues, or not so little, you can get them big. They have these statues that you put out to let the Risans know that you're interested in hooking up. So again, somebody asking me on my birthday if I have my Horgon out, if it had been somebody that I was friends with, I would have been like, ha, 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 ha. But somebody I don't know, who doesn't know my situation in life at all, and says that to me, it's a little off-putting, to which I decided, bye-bye. And I actually knocked him off my friend list. And then he came back. And the only reason that this is even fresh in my mind is because he came back to me late last week saying, "Oh, hey, haven't seen anything from you in a while. So," and then I realized you unfriended me, and what did I do? And then I had to explain it to him. And his response to me was, "Well, I thought a fellow Star Trek fan." Yes, when you are hot to trot and you are vacationing on Risa, if you display this statue, you will get lucky. Just watch out for shape-shifting aliens that want to rob you. That's all I'm going to say. So 6 months later, I get this message, "Why did you delete, or why aren't we friends anymore?" And me being the honest person that I am, it falls under the heading of, do not ever ask me a question if you don't want to know the answer. Give him the honest answer, the comment you made. And he said, "Well, I thought a fellow Star Trek fan would find it funny." And yeah, exactly. If you and I were close and actual friends and fellow Star Trek fans, yes, I would find it funny. I don't find it funny from somebody that doesn't know me or my situation. See? Or if you're Picard, you have a statue put out for you. Exactly. And that was funny because Picard and Riker were friends and it was a joke. Again, Christy, you literally just made my point. That's funny. That's funny because of the relationship that Riker and Picard had. But coming from basically somebody that's like practically a stranger making some sort of comment about, I hope you have your statue out. No. So Star Trek fans, being Star Trek fans is a great way to build a relationship. But how about you start building the relationship before you start making Gorgon jokes? That is all I'm saying. Or before you offer to send it to somebody to put out for them. So that's what happened, right? Riker sent it and he put it out. Picard put it out and didn't know what it means. And I think that's how we all found out what it meant. Yeah. What I loved about 2 Days and 2 Nights, which is the Enterprise episode, where they all finally, it took them 3 episodes from the point where they found out about Risa to the point where they finally got to Risa. But what I loved about the Risa episode was Hoshi was the only one who was like, no, I am just going there to study languages because I'm getting rusty and I'm relying too much on the universal translator. And she's literally the only one that got lucky. The people that went there to get lucky, Trip and Malcolm, ended up tied up in a basement. So because they got rolled by some shape-shifting aliens. Still a really, 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 really funny episode. Another, oh my God, you're really a Star Trek. And this, and I don't know if I told you guys this story. I think I posted it on my personal Facebook page. I went grocery shopping, I don't know, it was probably a month ago now. And when I'm having a bad hair day, we all know that I like to wear my NX01 baseball hat. Oh, I will definitely share this. Anybody that wants to do a very cool avatar like what Patrick has, check out this link. And you can all be Lower Decks avatars. I might have to pick that out. Yes, and Trip and Malcolm end up in their underwear. And honestly, any episode where Trip and Malcolm end up in their underwear is great for me personally. But again, I just kind of felt bad for them. But it was really, really, really funny. So I'm wearing my my NX01 hat out to the grocery store, and I'm at this. Wegmans has this really great soup and sandwich and salad counter set up now where you can have stuff fresh made for you by a guy. And I'm looking at the sandwiches and I wanted to see what the soups of the day were. And this guy looks up at me and he goes, this guy behind the counter, and he's British, which always gets my attention, as we all know. Looks up at me and says, is that from Star Trek? And I went, what? He's like, your hat. I'm like, oh my God. He is the first person outside of a cruise or a convention that has seen my hat just out in public and known it for exactly what it was. And his name's Sean, and he's awesome. And I love going and buying and getting lobster bisque because we always talk about Star Trek. Although the other day when I was in there getting bisque, he started talking to me about Voyager, and I'm like, no, sorry, you can't talk to me about Voyager. But he actually was just watching 2 Days and 2 Nights, and he hadn't finished it. He said something, and I said, have you finished the episode? And he said, no. I said, talk to me after you finish the episode, and we can talk about Trip and Malcolm ending up in their underwear. Acquisition, Trip spends most of that episode in his underwear until, unfortunately, he finds a uniform. Dead stop, Malcolm's in his underwear in sickbay for a little bit. And Sleeping Dogs, I think, is the episode where they rescue the Klingon ship that's sunken, that's about to get like sucked into a star, and I think that's the one, and they rescue, and then him and Hoshi and T'Pol end up in their underwear in the decon chamber. So yeah, see, I don't know a lot of Star Trek titles, but the episodes that I do know are usually the ones where the guys end up in their underwear. Oh, and not that I can show you because I can't move my camera, but Reed is actually laying, thank you. Gas giant, thanks. And well, you're saying hi now, Patrick, and I love that you're here. But Reed is actually chilling out with me on the floor. Reed the cat. Cannot pick him up. He's too big. For those of you that have watched my show before, early on, y'all knew that I had one cat named Kal-El who used to drop by all the time. But I think Podcat, we used to call him Podcat. I think he's kind of retired from video life because every time I try to get him to come in here now, he's off doing something else. So Paul looks at Trip really weird. Which episode are we referring to? I just listed like 3. So which episode is that? So does anybody else have any stories about meeting people that you were just really surprised that they were nerds or geeks? Nerds or geeks or anything where you're just like, wow, you like Star Trek too? I've tried to get him to come back. I really have. He's just not having any. I could take his picture. He'll let me take his picture, but he just, for some reason, he doesn't like coming in here anymore. He used to like it, but now, in fact, right now he's probably hiding under my bed. That's usually where he ends up when I'm in here. So, Acquisition. When did she look at? Oh yeah, maybe, Travis. Maybe I haven't seen Acquisition in a while. But that's entirely possible. Oh, so something else I feel like talking about, just because it's my podcast and I can. And if you guys want to think of a story where you've met somebody and you were surprised that they were a nerd or a geek or a Trekkie or a Star Wars fan, Lasso, you got to have something. Because you've been in this game, you've been in this sphere for so long. The inspiration for last week's show about gatekeeping was somebody that got on my case because I had mentioned that I'd gotten the Kelvin Timeline movies on 4K. And I finally watched one over the weekend. I watched the first one. And it's beautiful. I love my 4K TV. I just love the fact that I have 4K now. I also got Empire Strikes Back. So I might sit down this weekend and watch Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Say what you want about the new movies, like them, don't like them, but just the beauty of the bridge when it's that crisp and clean, and everything. So I love that. And I love that about 4K, and I can't wait. And I can't wait for the other Star Trek. The other Star Treks haven't come out in 4K. That's part of the problem. So I can't wait for the rest of them to come out. Well, I see B2, War Dog. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, Reed's awake. He's bugging me. I don't know. Do you want to try and come up and say hi to everybody? I don't know. He's kind of clawing on my chair. Let's see what else do we got. Patrick. That is very cool. That is very cool. Let's see. My infernal net is being weird and I just got the notification. Oh, well, look, we're still here. So thanks for coming in and hanging out, War Dog. You could always set an alarm. Well, like, watch this. Computer, red alert. Oh, see, now. Computer, cancel. For anybody that doesn't know this but has an Amazon Echo device, there is a skill, a red alert skill, and you can actually, and there's a Star Trek red alert skill, and hey babe, see, if my name wasn't in the way, you'd actually see his head. Oh, is that her hand? Is that the one with the rainbow? I can't do the Vulcan salute, but because that's actually her hand that she traced, and it's amazing. But anyway, yeah. So anybody who's got an Echo, you can use computer as a wake word, and there is a red alert.
When you want to talk to me, you have to first wake up your device by saying the wake word. For example, Alexa, Echo, Amazon, or computer.
See?
To learn more, visit amazon.com/Alexa privacy.
I literally just put this in my office the other day. I've got 3. And I gave her the C name. And so I get to say things like C, red alert. And it's just very cool. And it's very fun. And it has absolutely no purpose except that it's fun. So anybody that's thinking about getting one of those puppies, don't get Google, get this one, and then you can have red alerts. As far as masks go, here's something really interesting. StarTrek.com obviously has the really cool licensed stuff. And we all love StarTrek.com for shopping. That's one of, obviously. But they have very little in the way of Enterprise stuff, unfortunately. And, there's an ear. They have very little in the way of Enterprise stuff, unfortunately. In fact, if you go to Shop by Series and you go to the Enterprise page, it's got a bunch of different stuff that has nothing to do with Enterprise. It's just like, let's fill in the gaps. But they had a mask that I was going to get, and it said ENT across it. But then it also said NCC 1701. Well, that's the wrong Enterprise. I'm sorry, but it's like it says ENT, then it should say NX01, not NCC. So they made the mask wrong. So I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm going to stick with my Be Kind merch, and I'm going to have all my Be Kind masks. Can you come up? Hold on a second, guys. I don't know if this is going to work, and he might claw the shit out of my legs. Yeah. Oopsie, and I knocked the green screen down. See, I tried. That's Reed, for what it's worth. And see, my green screen was perfect, and then I knocked into it. But anyway, that very briefly was Reed. And just so everybody knows, in March, I'm getting a trip. I don't know. He might want to come out and introduce himself to all y'all. Hold on one second, guys. I can fix this. This is an easy fix. Just had to find a little. See, like I said, just needed to figure out the best way to fasten the green screen. And you guys are all so cool that I know you're going to bear with me while I fix it, so you don't have to look at the side of my desk. And the bridge is now back. Thanks, Lasso. But yeah, so I'm going to stick to my Be Kind masks from Pop Culture Hero Coalition. And you know what? Everybody is always has some really nice things to say. So, Travis, he ran away, but I will definitely tell him you said hi. My text alert on my phone's actually the theme to Doctor Who. But if anybody, anyway, you know what? Since I'm talking about it, this is probably the best place to go to get masks. BeKindMerch.org. That's Chase Masterson's superhero pop culture coalition website, and that's where I have 4 different masks for pop culture, and people see them. They see the Be Kind, and they love it. And I've actually sent people to that site, so hopefully I've gotten one or two sales for Chase. So that's where I go to get my masks. This is very true. Do not work with kids and animals. But back to what Travis said. Let's see. My general text alert is Doctor Who, but then certain Trek friends I've assigned like a red alert, a transporter, a phaser, photon torpedo. I think it's a photon torpedo. I have so many different emails that all of my different emails have different alerts on my phone, so I know what emails are coming in. I have Star Wars, but I also have 3 different sections of Where My Heart Will Take Me. So depending on which section of the song plays, I know which emails I'm getting. Yes, definitely. I mean, you need to get an NX 7062 shirt, but you should also go get one of at least one of Chase's shirts. I have a couple of tank tops that say Be Kind. I have 2 coffee mugs, a black one and a white one. I have the shirt, and then I have 2 tank tops and 4 masks. So yes, they know me very well over at Be Kind Merch. But 3 Enterprise Dream Coasters. That is awesome. That I don't have. There was a guy that I used to see at conventions that used to take tile and just do whatever on a tile. I've got a Christopher Reeve Superman, a Julie Newmar Catwoman, a David Tennant, a Superman, just a Superman symbol. This tile work is gorgeous, and he could actually make tables out of it. But I would just buy the tiles, and then I just use those as coasters. So, yeah, absolutely. There's some fantastic. And I have to tell you, I just had to get reading glasses back in September. So, of course, I went out and I started looking. So, on Etsy, I got a Star Wars glasses case on Etsy. I got a Superman lanyard on Etsy. It's actually a mask lanyard, so it has the little alligator clippy thing, not alligator clips, it has the little like necklace clips at the end, and then you can actually just get the little rubber loops that so I just basically turned it into a glasses lanyard, because if I don't have them on a lanyard, I will either lose them, they will fall off, I will step on them. But I refuse to get like a pearl necklace. I am not an old woman, so I got a Superman lanyard and I hang my glasses from it. Etsy is Etsy is amazing just on so many levels, but the nerd stuff that you can find on Etsy, the fandom stuff you can find on Etsy is absolutely gorgeous. So I definitely recommend Etsy for some of your more eclectic needs, because like I said, I mean, I did get an Enterprise, I got an NX01 glasses case as well off of Amazon. It took me forever to find something, but I really love my Star Wars glasses case that I got on Etsy. That's my regular glasses case. The Enterprise one's going to be my travel one, because it's got a clip on it. But again, I gotta, this is my merch. I designed my own logo. This is all me. The logo is all me. Because just in case anybody's wondering, copyright law says that if you change anything that's copyrighted 30%, at least 30%, then it's altered enough that you're not infringing. So the fact that it might look a little familiar doesn't mean that CBS is going to come after me, which is a good thing, because as I've said so many times before, it would be nice for CBS to notice me. I just would not want them noticing me by sending me a cease and desist letter. That just would be no bueno. So yeah. All right. So anybody else have anything they want to say about unlikely Star Trek fans? I can't think of any other people that I've met in my life besides, like I said, and that's me. My preconceived notions about country music, that is all on me. It was just amazing how many nerds, mostly, some Star Wars, some Star Trek, nerds I found in country music. And I think part of that also has to do with the fact that the artists I used to work with hated science fiction, hated conventions. I will let you in on another story just because I can, because like I said, I don't speak to this person anymore. But this is what always got me, because this is what we used to get in arguments about how she would be mad that these conventions, that the celebrities would charge for their autographs. And as try as I may to explain to her that celebrities have appearance fees and that charging for their autographs was the offset for their appearance fees. Otherwise ticket prices would be through the roof and nobody would able to, either ticket prices would be through the roof or every convention could only afford to have like 3 people. So the reason that celebrities charge for their autographs and for photo ops, that's all to offset the costs of them actually being there, so that the fans could still afford the tickets. And we used to argue about this back and forth, and I would try to explain this to her, and she never, ever, ever, ever got it. Well, her daughter was a huge Vampire Diaries fan, and Creation does Vampire Diaries conventions. So she broke down and she took her daughter to Vampire Diaries and she bought a gold pass. And for anybody that's ever attended a Creation event, you know that the gold pass gets you assigned seats and it gets you a selection of different photo ops and autographs. And her entire theory about why she bought this gold pass was, well, I'll buy the gold pass because then I'm not paying for the autographs. I'm getting them for free. Sad news, sweetheart. The gold pass, what do you pay for the gold pass? You pay for the half a penny little sticker that they put on the back of your chair because you have an assigned seat. So you got to pay for that little sticker that might have cost a half a cent to stick on the back of your seat. And then the rest of that big chunk of change that you just gave to Creation goes towards the autographs. So, yeah, you kind of did pay for those autographs. So that's the opposite of finding out somebody's a fan. But I always just thought that that was really ironic that she was saying she didn't pay for the autographs. But yeah, she kind of did. All right, what is Travis Scott? Knew who Patrick Stewart is and embarrassed the heck out of me. I don't know if he was a fan, but he did watch TNT. Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. It's like, yeah, I know who Patrick Stewart is. What do you think I am? Kind of deal, right, Chavez? I'm trying to think if I ever knew any teachers. God, I have to think way far back. And I don't think I did. I hear another cat back there, but I'm pretty sure that it's Sugar. So sorry, Christine, but it looks like Podcat is sticking with his retirement plan because he's not here. Sorry. Well, guys, I've also got, I guess that brings us to the end of this fun. Oh, wait, domestic. Okay, here we go. Speaking of Chase, always liked it, and Doctor Who Big Finish has a new Vienna coming out with Chase Masterson and Eric Roberts. You know what? I think I did hear about that. I don't know how they're bringing him back as the Master because I thought that he got dissolved or disintegrated or killed in that movie. For anybody that doesn't know, Paul McGann's Doctor lasted exactly. He had Paul McGann had one made-for-TV movie. That was his entire role as a doctor until right before the 50th anniversary movie came out, and they gave him this little mini episode so we could all see how Paul McGann turned into the War Doctor. And where do you find my T-shirt? You find my T-shirt? That's a great question. That's where you go. That's where my store is on Teespring. I wish it was a shorter thing, but that's what it is. And that's where there's tanks, there's tees, there's sweatshirts, and face masks. I did make a face mask. Tanks, tees, sweatshirts, and face masks. And if there's a color, if you want a different color or whatever, just shoot me a message on Facebook. Just message NX7062. Or for those of you that don't have a Facebook, you can direct message me on Twitter. Or in War Dog's case, he is a patron. You can actually direct message me through Patreon. So that's something else you could do. So if there's a color that you'd like that you don't see, War Dog, let me know. And that's where I am on Patreon. If you want to become a patron, you can, like I said, you can buy a T-shirt. You can become a patron. You can subscribe to the podcast, to the YouTube channel. What else can you do? And you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm NX7062 everywhere. People have actually tried to get me to change the name of the podcast at one point, and I'm like, no, this is actually the third incarnation of my podcast, and this is the Star Trek centric incarnation, and I happen to love the name, and I created merch. Oh, thank you, War Dog. That's right. I remember you said that. No face hugger, aka Facebook. But you know how to find me because you're a patron. But I like the name NX7062. And I've gotten, people to actually do bumpers, those little things that you hear at the beginning and the end for NX7062. I'm not changing the name. Nope. All right, Patrick. Fourth grade English teacher was a Trekkie, and I learned these. Oh. Yeah, I just, I was a nerd in school. I liked Star Trek and Star Wars when I was in school. But I really didn't bond. None of my friends, it's funny, none of my friends back when I was in school, I never really bonded with any of my friends in school over that. So I honestly can't remember if any of my teachers were. And I was actually more focused on horses when I was in school. That was my thing from 5th grade on, was horses. So, but listen, guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I guess you're all going to have to wait with bated breath to find out exactly what is on tap for next week, because I am not 100% sure yet. But thank you all for joining me. I love hanging out with you. #Chat Pack. We're like the Chat Pack 2.0, I guess, or something. But I love talking to you guys every week, and I love the fact that you're here, and I appreciate you so much. And if you have a chance, follow me on the Twitter, follow me on the Facebook, Patreon, Teespring, if you want to go grab yourself a shirt or a coffee mug. Coffee mugs are great. I use broken coffee mugs for pen holders. So I have some broken coffee mugs that I don't want to give up, that I like for whatever reason, but they're not serviceable as mugs anymore. I find other things to do with them. So again, thank you guys for joining. Don't forget to go support the Voyager doc, support support Chase Masterson either by heading over to Big Finish and snagging one of her Viennas. It's great. You'll like, okay. Well, Lasso, you'll wait with breath that is bated. I do love that about you. And if I'm not mistaken, are we quoting Sex and the City here? Because that's the only place that my brain went when I wrote that, and I know you're a Sex and the City fan. One Love Chat Pack 2.0. There you go. Let's get that one circulating, okay? Wait with Beth that is braided. That's from one of the last seasons of Sex and the City for anybody out there that's a Sex and the City fan. Like I said, Lasso and I have bonded over our love of so many things. But Sex and the City was also one of them. Anyway, guys, thank you again so much. Patreon, Teespring, just social media, wherever you want to follow me, I would love to see. But don't forget, if you're a patron, and you can reach out to me through Patreon, or if you have Facebook, I will send you an invitation to the private Facebook group, and you can shout out to me about different ideas for different show topics or different guests you might want me to try and track down. Yep, see, I knew it. You know, the city that has sex. Well, Risa is. Oh, thank you, Domestic. That's very sweet of you to say. I love that you think that, and I love that you hang out here with me every Monday. Risa is the planet that has sex, because, like I said, if you ever go to Risa, don't forget your Horgon. That's Sugar, Travis. Yes, Sugar has joined me. Not going to do the whole picking up thing again because I don't want my green screen to fall down. Guys, again, we're here every Monday live 10 East. And until I see you again, don't forget, please, to live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your evening.